Going on to page 33, you have a particular section which deals with sinking fund. Now, a sinking fund basically is a fund that is established in organizations for a specific purpose, like replacement of machinery, etc. Generally, you will find with respect to sinking fund in annuity, the amounts will be contributed at the end of each year or at the end of 6 months and not at the start itself. This is the general rule. Having said that, if the question, read the question very carefully. In case the question states that it is a sinking fund that is set up and it is set up right from today itself, then that problem will involve annuity due or immediate, otherwise it will be annuity regular. So generally the question does not state anything. It will imply that the payment or the receipt is made at the end of each period, and therefore, since that is the implication, annuity regular formula must be applied after identifying whether it is FV annuity regular or PV annuity regular. Okay, be careful. Then the next one on page 34, you find leasing. Where all do we apply this annuity? Leasing is nothing but something, a transaction which is very similar to hiring. Just like how you hire an auto. Instead of buying an auto, you can even lease an auto. Now, the point is when we lease, now suppose you are interested in buying a washing machine or let's say a truck. You don't have 10 lakhs with you. You approach me. I will basically invest the money and buy the truck and lease it out to you for you to use it. Okay. Now, the point that you need to bear in mind is the question that is asked is, should you buy the asset directly or should you lease it? Now, if you were to buy the asset, you have to invest 10 lakhs today itself, and 10 lakhs will be present value as far as you are concerned, because you have to pay 10 lakhs today itself. Alternatively, if you lease, you don't have to pay anything today, because you will generally be asked to pay a lease rental as you use the asset starting from the end of the first year. Therefore, what happens is you will have to now, after identifying that this is an annuity regular plan because rent is required to be paid by you from the end of the first year, you will then arrive at the following. How do you compare whether buying is better or leasing is better? Be very clear. Buying involves you investing 10 lakhs today itself, meaning it is PV today. Therefore, if the question states you are supposed to pay lease rental of 3.5 lakhs for the next 5 years, then you are supposed to find out the PV of annuity regular, because 3.5 lakhs is paid at the end of first year, 3.5 lakh at the end of second year, 3.5 lakh at the end of third year, 3.5 lakh at the end of fourth year, and 3.5 lakh at the end of the fifth year. Now, this is not comparable to 10 lakhs which is payable today. If you want to compare two things, they must be similar, of the same type. You can't compare a monkey and a donkey and say the monkey is hopping from branch to branch in a tree, but a donkey is unable to leap from one branch to another. One can't probably put forth an argument that a monkey is unable to kick as a donkey is able to. That's not a comparison. You have to compare either two monkeys or you have to compare two donkeys. Therefore, in our example, you can't compare 3.5 lakhs to be paid at the end of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 respectively against a 10 lakhs to be paid today. You have to convert the time period to the same date. Now, since the 10 lakhs is payable today, you know that you have a formula for PV annuity regular. Therefore, the 3.5 lakh that is payable by you at the end of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from today can very well be converted applying the PV annuity regular formula, and you can find out the total one single amount that you have to pay today itself. That amount which you found out, if it is going to be less than 10 lakhs, then you would say leasing is better, buying is not better. Suppose you find out that the PV annuity regular of the 3.5 lakhs payable at the end of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is more than 10 lakhs, then you would say leasing costs me more, therefore buying is better. I hope the point is clear to you. Then your capital expenditure decisions in terms of whether you should buy an asset or not, the logic remains the same. Okay. Now, valuation of a bond is another concept. Bond is something like your fixed deposit or a debenture which gives you interest income over the period of life of the bond. Suppose I invest in a bond today which has a face value of 1,000 rupees, and the bond will give me an interest rate of 10%. So I'm supposed to get 100 rupees interest every year, correct? Now, suppose I say I invest in the bond today and the bond will be redeemed or repaid at the end of the 5th year. Now just imagine when I'm asked a question, is it worthwhile investing in the bond? Correct? Now, how will I compare? If I can go and buy the bond for 1,000 rupees, the 1,000 rupees is the face value of the bond. The interest will always be calculated with respect to face value. But suppose the bond is available in the market today at 1,020 rupees. I have to pay the seller 1,020 rupees and acquire the bond. Now, when I acquire the bond, it still has a life of 5 more years. And it is going to give me at the end of 1 year from today 100 rupees, at the end of second year 100 rupees, at the end of third year 100 rupees, at the end of fourth year 100 rupees, at the end of fifth year 100 rupees, and at the end of fifth year also the 1,000 rupees principal will be repaid. So at the end of the fifth year I will be repaid the interest plus the principal, total being 1,100. Now the point is, I am asked to pay today 1,020. 1,020 is a present value as of today, correct? Whereas the 100 rupees receivable at the end of year 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1,100 at the end of 5th year are all future values. I can't compare present value with the future value. I have to make both of them as either PV or both of them as FV. Now what I do is I leave the 1,020 that I pay today as PV only. Why? I have a formula for converting the future cash flows into PV of today. Since 100 is payable to me at the end of 1 year, I know it is an annuity regular. And since I want to find out the PV, I have a formula for PV annuity regular. I apply that formula, get the answer, or, well, be very careful. When I apply the PV annuity regular formula, I have to apply it on an annuity amount. An annuity means it's a constant amount. So you have to apply it only on 100 rupees of first year, second, third, fourth and fifth. Do not apply that formula on the 1,100 of the 5th year because the amount changes in the 5th year. So you will have to apply the formula keeping A, capital A, annuity amount as 100. You will get an answer, a PV of annuity regular. Plus, you have to find out the PV of the 1,000 rupees of principal that will be paid to you at the end of the 5th year by discounting the 1,000 rupees by, or rather as 1,000 divided by, within bracket 1 plus I power 5. For 5 years you have to discount that 1,000 to find out the PV as of today. Okay, I repeat, the 1,000 rupees that is receivable to you at the end of the 5th year is to be received today itself. So you will discount it by 5 years. Now, when I say discount, you need an I, correct? That I will not be the same 10%, which is what is the interest you are getting. The question will tell you that the current interest rate is 12%. So you will discount using I as 12% and find out the answer. So you can either calculate it this way, or to keep it very simple with respect to valuation of bonds, what you do is take the cash inflow of interest at the end of first year as 100, divide that 100 by 1 plus 0.12, 12% is the current rate, 1 plus 0.12 in the denominator, power 1, because you are discounting just for 1 year, plus you are supposed to receive one more 100 at the end of the second year. So discount that 100 by 1 plus 0.12 power 2, because you're discounting for 2 years. Similarly, for third year, 100 divided by 1.12 power 3. For the fourth year, plus 100 divided by 1.12 power 4. And for the fifth year, 1100 divided by 1.12 power 5. What answer you get is exactly the same as what you will get, which I mentioned earlier. Applying the PB annuity regular formula for an annuity amount of only 100 plus the last 1000 rupees principal that is being repaid, which will be discounted by 1 plus 0.12 power 5. Both will yield the same result. So that takes care of the valuation of bond. And then there is a concept relating to perpetuity, meaning income keeps flowing to you. The principal will never be redeemed, meaning you have invested 1000 rupees today in a bond, which will give you 10% interest, or you have invested assuming 1020 today, okay, and you are supposed to be getting 10% interest on the face value of 1000, which is 100 rupees. So you will continue to be getting 100 rupees to eternity. Okay? What should be the value of such particular bond? How much should you pay to acquire that particular bond? It's a very simple thing. The amount of interest which we are supposed to get is 100 rupees. Therefore, that 100 rupees will be divided by whatever is the current rate of interest annually. If you assume it to be 12, 100 will be divided by 0.12. Whatever is the value you get, that's the price you're supposed to pay to acquire the bond. Suppose 100 divided by 0.12. Suppose, assuming that it gives you an answer which is equal to, let us say, 833, assumption, okay? Then the worth of the bond is only 833. Suppose the bond is now available in the market at more than 833, you will say, I will not buy it. And if it is available at less than 833, you will say, definitely buy it. Now, this involves a case where 100 rupees interest will be received by you constantly. I repeat, the 100 will be received at the end of the first year, second year, third year, till eternity. And please note, the 100 is not going to grow in the future. The same 100 is being received throughout. But in real life, what we notice is 100 rupees will not remain constant. Are you very happy if someone pays you 100 at the end of 1 year, same 100 at the end of second year, same 100 at the end of third year? You would definitely tend to be unhappy. You want the 100 to be paid at the end of first year, maybe 105 at the end of second year, maybe 110 point something at the end of third year. So some growth we expect, correct? Now, when the growth is given to us, and and the question states that the growth is applicable to perpetuity, then the formula that we use is the amount of interest or dividend, whatever you get, should be divided by I minus G, meaning suppose you are going to be paid 100 rupees interest, numerator will have 100 rupees divided by, if the current rate of interest is 12%, I will be 12 minus, if the question states the growth is assumed to be 5%, then G will be treated, growth will be treated as 5%. Therefore, the result will be 100 rupees in the numerator divided by 12% minus 5% is equal to 100 rupees divided by 7% is equal to 100 divided by 0.07. Whatever is the answer, that will be the value of the particular bond or investment product. Okay, that is whenever growth is involved to perpetuity, not otherwise. Must remember the formula where growth is involved, that R divided by I minus G will give you the price of the product. There is another concept called as net present value. Well, what is the meaning of that? Look at the term present value, meaning value as of today that we have already learned. Net, meaning two things must be compared. Minimum two things must be compared. The difference is what can be net, correct? It's a very simple thing. Present value indicates today's value. Net means you have to have minimum two data. Now what is this? Let us make an assumption that you are supposed to invest 10 lakh rupees to buy a particular machinery today. So that is the cash outflow today. The gross cash outflow today is 10 lakh rupees. Now, after having invested, this machinery is expected to generate 3 lakh rupees worth of profit for you for the next 5 years. Therefore, you know that 3 lakhs will be earned by you at the end of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 respectively. I am assuming that the scrap value of the asset is 0 at the end of the 5th year. Therefore, I repeat, you are paying 10 lakhs today as a cash outflow from your bank account. Over the next 5 years, you will receive 3 lakhs every year. Now, I repeat, 10 lakhs is present value, 3 lakhs is future value, hence not comparable. Now, to compare them, you have to convert the 3 lakh rupees that you will receive at the end of each year for 5 years to present value, meaning the annuity regular, because amounts are received at the end of the period. So it is an annuity regular, and since I need to find out the present value, I have to apply the formula present value of annuity regular with respect to 3 lakhs. So the annuity amount there will be 3 lakhs. I will apply the present value of annuity regular formula, find out the total present value of annuity regular. Now suppose the amount that I find out is going to be more than 10 lakhs. It means that the present value of the income that will be generated over the next 5 years is expected to be more than 10 lakhs. Therefore, suppose that amount is assumed to be 10 lakhs and 5 rupees. Now, I know that the present value of annuity regular, meaning the 3 lakhs that is to be received by me each year over the next 5 years. If I receive it as a single payment today itself, it is worth 10 lakh and 5 rupees. Therefore, I will be getting something worth 10 lakh 5 rupees today, for which I need to spend 10 lakhs only today. Net, I will be left with 5 rupees. Hence, it is beneficial to invest in this particular machinery. Whereas, if the PV of the amount results in 9 lakh and 95,000, it means the income that is generated to me over the next 5 years totally is worth 9 lakh 95,000 today, whereas what I spend today is 10 lakhs worth today. Net, I am spending 5,000 more today. In that situation, I would recommend that please do not buy the machinery. I hope the point is clear to you. Now, we move, therefore, if net present value is greater than 0 or equal to 0, we will accept, and if net present value is less than 0, we will reject basically whatever proposal is given to us. Then there is another concept called nominal rate of return. It's a very simple concept. Now, whenever we say the bank pays us 10% interest for the next 1 year, that is a contracted rate. If the question tells us that the contracted rate is 10%, okay, which is the nominal rate, and it also states that 4% or 6% is the inflation rate for the next 1 year, then the real rate of return will be the 10% minus the 6% is equal to 4%. Meaning, if something costs me 100 rupees today, after 1 year, because inflation of 6% is there, it will cost me 106 rupees. It will get increased by 6%. Suppose a book costs me 100 rupees today, the same book will cost me due to inflation 106 rupees at the end of 1 year from today. But when I invest 100 rupees in the bank pays me 110 rupees, meaning 10 rupees of interest. Therefore, 110 minus the 106, 4 rupees extra I get, which is nothing but the 10 rupees interest minus the 6 rupees inflation. Now that 4 rupees is what is referred to as the real rate of return. Therefore, the nominal interest rate or 10% can be arrived at by using real interest rate, which is 4% plus the inflation, which is 6%, resulting in 10%. And then you will find a base 39 effective rate, which I have already explained to you in the earlier session as 1 plus I power n minus 1. And with regard to I and M and N, remember the reset frequency and the conversion that will have to be done. That is what is done and is expressed on page 39. Do not forget that, meaning compounding can happen either on half-yearly basis or quarterly basis. So you will have to do the conversion accordingly. Now the last concept is compound annual growth rate. There is a formula given which you will have to maybe by heart. But if you look at the example, let me express to you very simplistically what is exactly this formula. Now, what is this compound annual growth rate? This is nothing but compound interest only. Let us go back to calculating the maturity amount using compound interest. What is the maturity amount equal to? It will be P, which is the principal, multiplied by within bracket 1 plus I power n. Correct? So, maturity amount, let us denote it by A, capital A. Okay? A is equal to P, which is the principal, multiplied by within bracket 1 plus I power n. Therefore, the next step we can write it as A divided by P, meaning maturity amount divided by principal is equal to 1 plus I power n. Correct? Therefore, the next step can be rewritten as A divided by P whole bracket to the power 1 by n is equal to 1 plus I, applying whatever we know about indices. Okay? I repeat, if A divided by B on the left hand side is equal to, on the right hand side, 1 plus I power n, then it is the same as the next step, A divided by B power 1 by n is equal to 1 plus I. Therefore, the next step can be rewritten as A divided by B whole power 1 by n minus 1 is equal to I. Correct? Now, this is something that you have just derived based on the compound interest maturity amount formula. Correct? Now, whatever you have derived as A divided by B whole power 1 by n minus 1 is equal to I is what you will see as the formula that is used to solve the example under compound annual growth rate. So whether you remember the formula given here or you derive it this way, the answer will still be the same. With that, the annuity related concepts are explained to you.